India Conference and began by asking him what we can expect in terms of margins for Infosys in the first quarter. Take a look.
Beginning of the year, we had given margin guidance of plus or minus 25%. So that's for the year. And last year also we ended at about 25% margin. But on a quarterly basis, we don't give guidance on margin. But historically also quarter one will be probably lower because we have got impact of compensation increase. We have got an impact of visa. So historically quarter one margins will be a couple of points lower than what you see rest of the year. But for the year we have given a guidance of 24 to 26% and we are comfortable there.
So how much will be in terms of basis points, maybe a 50 basis points or 100 basis point cut from the regular numbers that we are seeing historically?
For a quarter one perspective, from a quarter one perspective, historically it's always been about 150, 200 basis point lower than what we see rest of the year, and that's something which will play out this year as well, because there is an impact of visa and there is an impact of compensation increase which happens starting April. So that impact will absorb a big part of it in this quarter and it will phase out over the rest of the quarters. So for this industry and for us in particular, quarter one has always been about 200 basis point lower, and we expect that to continue this quarter as well.
In terms of talking about your revenue guidance that you have given, so sir, going ahead in this year, will you be able to beat the revenue guidance that you have given for FY17?
I mean, the whole idea of giving guidance is, based on our information, that is visibility that we have, that is where we believe we will land in. And since the beginning of the quarter, we have not seen any real dramatic changes for us to take a view either way. So we remain confident about 11.5 to 13.5, which we have given at the beginning of this quarter. And it's very difficult to, at this stage, there has not been any changes or anything for us to relook at the guidance.
Okay. Sir, when could we see those old glory days of maybe 14 to 15% of growth and maybe Infosys leading that growth? If you could just give some timeline on when could we can we see those days back?
No, I think from an industry perspective, it is difficult to anticipate that level of growth. So our expectation is for the next few years, it will still remain in the 12, 14. This year, NASSCOM has guided for 10 to 12% growth. Last year, I think industry grew by about 12%. So we will expect to see this in this range, because when you look at what's happening, client spend on IT is not really increasing. It is just that they are cutting cost in one part of the business, repurposing cost in other areas of business. So given that and given the size and scale of Indian players today, it is difficult to expect more than that. But having said that, there is always a play for one or two players to grow significantly above industry average. And if we execute our strategy right, hopefully we could be one of the players.
Okay, so that was the exchange that we got yesterday.